read it. Does anyone remember where we left off? Yes, Marcel.
What do you call it? Junior punched the white rich kid.
Yes, he punched Roger. Do we remember why he punched Roger?
Because he's calling him names, like making fun of him.
Yes, remember he said a really, really inappropriate joke that was really racist and wrong, and he punched him in the face after he said that, right? And did Roger fight him after?
No.
Nope, he didn't. What did he do?
He ran away.
Yeah, and he was like, why did you just hit me, dude? Right? And what was Junior saying? Do you remember at the end what he was saying?
Well, but there's rules.
Yes, what are the rules? That's what he was asking. What are the rules here? He was so confused because he was like, he's telling us about his reservation, right? And he's like, at my school, if someone even looks at you the wrong way, remember they're saying they don't care if it's a boy, they don't care if it's a girl, they're gonna hit you, right? They fight a lot. And we know that based off of Rowdy's character, based off of what we know about Junior's life on the reservation. So yes, we saw that Junior starts his first day at Reardon and feels completely out of place. He shares the rules for fighting on the res, right? And they just about say that you fight for just about anything on the res, right? It's like if it even looks like someone's gonna insult you, you punch them in the face. What? Can you imagine that? Like just hitting someone because it was like, oh, I thought you were gonna say something mean, so I just stopped you in the face. Like what? That's not realistic, right? Then we have that Roger tells Junior a racist joke and Junior punches him out of anger, right? He's really mad, and in that case, he does what he needs to do and he punches him. And you guys said that it was justified. You said that it was fair, right? That's what I asked you guys, if you guys think it's fair that Junior punched him, and you all said yes. Roger's shocked because fighting isn't normal at Reardon, which shows the culture clash between the res and his new school. Remember, we were also talking about culture shock last class and how Junior is experiencing that because he's so unfamiliar with life outside of the res and how societal rules might be different. And then Junior leaves feeling lonely, scared, and unsure where he belongs. Okay, so that's where we're leaving off. Now in chapter 9, Junior is going to go to his grandmother for guidance about Rowdy and friendship, okay? Now that Junior doesn't have Rowdy, who does he have?
His grandma.
Well, besides his grandma.
His parents.
His parents, but he doesn't really have anyone, right? Rowdy was his only friend. So now he has no friends, essentially, right? It's just him, and he's gonna turn to his grandma. He's gonna use humor to deal with his sadness, jokes that show he's hurting, but trying to stay positive. We see that a lot in here, right? He uses humor to downplay serious combos. He'll say something like super serious, and then he'll say a joke, and then he'll go back to being serious. But he kind of sandwiches it, so it's like, oh, that's bad, but then he says something funny, so maybe it's not that bad, right? He kind of makes jokes about what he's going through. I want you guys to notice the mix of serious emotion and light humor to make those hard topics easier to read, right? We read about a lot of heavy topics in here, but it's easy for us to read it because he kind of makes jokes out of them, right? He makes it seem more lighthearted than he is. I want you guys to pay attention how the grandmother's advice shapes Junior's views on friendships. I want you to think about whether or not he values his grandmother's perspective and he values her advice, okay? I want you guys to think of that. And then lastly, I want you to see what this reveals about Junior's loneliness and longing for connection now that he doesn't have Rowdy, okay? And then I'm going to go into chapter 10 because we're going to read 9, 10, and 11 back to back, okay? Because they're super short, so we'll go through those pretty quick. 12 we'll come back for. In chapter 10, we get a flashback, this is super short, to elementary school when Junior embarrassed himself trying to impress a girl. We're going to get another story about a girl in this chapter, and the memory is going to show how long he has struggled with feeling different. You're going to expect self-deprecating humor. Junior laughs at himself to soften painful memories. And then Tone feels like a teenager telling a cringe story. It's dramatic, it's funny, and it's honest, okay? You guys might make fun of him, but I'm sure it may be something you guys have also gone through or experienced. And there's no shame in being a teenager and having big feelings, okay? But he also talks about Rowdy in this chapter. So I want you guys to see, he's mentioning Rowdy a lot, right? And even though him and Rowdy left off on terrible terms, Rowdy hit him, right? He's still longing for Rowdy again, right? He misses his best friend. And what I want you to do is pay close attention to how this memory directly connects to his struggles at Reardon. And when I say this, I want you to pay attention to how chapter 10 ties in directly with what's going to happen in chapter 11, okay? Chapter 11 is going to talk about Halloween. Junior's going to plan to raise money for homeless people by trick-or-treating. Maybe you're like, what? How does that even happen? Guess what? He's doing it for a girl, right? So Penelope has the same idea, which makes him feel connected to her. You're gonna kind of see how their Halloween costumes bring them together, and he's gonna use this as an opportunity to impress the girl, and it doesn't go quite as planned. Because we're gonna see what happens to Junior Halloween night and how Penelope reacts to it the following day. And lastly, what does this chapter reveal about Junior's isolation and courage? So I want us to pay attention to what his grandmother says to him and how it impacts him, okay? I want you to pay close attention to his story about the girl and how it'll tie directly into the story he's gonna tell in chapter 11, okay? What is his relationship with women? How do we see the same thing but also a little different from chapter 10 to 11, okay? He talks about what he's done, but we're kind of seeing some repetitiveness in chapter 11, so I want you to focus on that. And lastly, I want you to focus on how much he talks about Rowdy and how much he misses Rowdy, okay? You guys are gonna see that. Maybe you guys would miss your best friend too. But we are going to open up to chapter 7. Grandmother gave me some advice. That is on page, let me see, the pages are weird. 71, 76, 98. On page 67, you guys will see grandmother gives me some advice, okay? Go ahead and open to that page right there. So go ahead and open to that. I'm going to play the audio shortly, okay? Sorry, but okay, here we go. Let's follow along in our book. Thank you.
Grandmother gives me some advice. I went home that night completely confused and terrified.
This is the night that he punched Roger in the face, right? So he just punched Roger and he was like, what? He wasn't mad. So he needs someone to talk to in this case. That's the timeline of where we're at.
If I'd punched an Indian in the face, then he would have spent days plotting his revenge. And I imagine that white guys would also want revenge after getting punched in the face. So I figured Roger was going to run me over with a farm tractor or combine or grain truck or a runaway pig. I wished Rowdy was still my friend. I could have sent him after Roger. It would have been like King Kong battling Godzilla. I realized how much of my self-worth, my sense of safety, was based on Rowdy's fists. But Rowdy hated me, and Roger hated me. I was good at being hated by guys who could kick my ass. It's not a talent you really want to have. My mother and father weren't home, so I turned to my grandmother for advice. Grandma, I said, I punched this big guy in the face, and he just walked away, and now I'm afraid he's going to kill me. Why did you punch him? She asked. He was bullying me. You should have just walked away. He called me chief and squaw boy. Then you should have kicked him in the balls. She pretended to kick a big guy in the crotch, and we both laughed.
Okay, so now that oh sorry, voice change. Hello. So now that Junior doesn't have Rowdy, who is he turning to? His grandma. She's spunky, huh? So take a look at this caricature of Grandma over here. I wish you guys would have had the opportunity to go to the Native American tradition at Whittier High School. It was yesterday. It was so good. Next year, I'll make sure that I let Chef Duarte, oh my gosh, Chef Mead know that you guys are invited because it was so good. And I didn't know, honestly, how good it was going to be, or else I would have invited you guys to come. It was really for freshmen. But next year we'll open it up for everyone to go. The reason why I'm telling you that is you could have seen like Native American, like elderly Native Americans. They look a lot like this grandma here.
You went to basketball sneakers? You went to basketball sneakers?
Yeah, the basketball sneakers and everything. So she's American, you know, she's funky. She's got mad skills, it says. Turns out Junior is really pretty good at basketball. We're gonna find that out. By the way, if you guys like basketball, you're gonna love, there's a couple chapters where it's all devoted to his love for basketball.
Did he hit you? She asked. No, not at all, I said. Not even after you hit him? Nope. And he's a big guy? Gigantic. I bet he could take Rowdy down. Wow, she said. It's strange, isn't it? I asked. What does it mean? Grandma thought hard for a while. I think it means he respects you, she said. Respect? No way. Yes way. You see, you men and boys are like packs of wild dogs. This giant boy is the alpha male of the school, and you're the new dog. So he pushed you around a bit to see how tough you are. But I'm not tough at all, I said. Yeah, but you punched the alpha dog in the face, she said. They're going to respect you now. I love you, Grandma, I said, but you're crazy.
Do you guys think that Roger's gonna respect him? Like, actually?
No.
Do you think he's gonna walk into school and he's like big guy on campus, like, ooh, he's the one that punched Roger? That's like the dream, right? Like, we hope that's what happens for him, but the way Junior's life goes, okay.
I couldn't sleep that night because I kept thinking about my impending doom. I knew Roger would be waiting for me in the morning at school. I knew he'd punch me in the head and shoulder area about 200 times. I knew I'd soon be in a hospital drinking soup through a straw. So exhausted and terrified, I went to school. My day began as it usually did. I got out of bed at dark 30 and rummaged around the kitchen for anything to eat. All I could find was a package of orange fruit drink mix. So I made a gallon of that and drank it all down. Then I went into the bedroom and asked Mom and Dad if they were driving me to school. Don't have enough gas, Dad said, and went back to sleep. Great, I'd have to walk. So I put on my shoes and coat and started down the highway. I got lucky because my dad's best friend Eugene just happened to be heading to Spokane.
Okay, also remember that his school's over 20 miles away. So he's like, I guess I'm just gonna have to walk. And I'm sure some of you maybe walk to school when you live like not that far away, like Rubinville. This dude's gotta walk like from here to Ontario. You guys know where Ontario is? That's far. That's like if I was like, okay, let's walk to Orange County right now. Like what? That's almost a marathon, guys. And he's having to walk like just to school. That probably takes him a really long time.
Eugene was a good guy and like an uncle to me, but he was drunk all the time. Not stinky drunk, just drunk enough to be drunk. He was a funny and kind drunk, always wanting to laugh and hug you and sing songs and dance. Funny how the saddest guys can be happy drunks. Hey, Junior, he said, hop on my pony, man. So I hopped onto the back of Eugene's bike and off we went, barely in control. I just closed my eyes and held on. And pretty soon, Eugene got me to school. We pulled up in front and a lot of my classmates just stared. I mean, Eugene had braids down to his butt for one, and neither of us wore helmets for the other. I suppose we looked dangerous. Man, he said, there's a lot of white people here. Yeah. You doing all right with them? I don't know. I guess. It's pretty cool you doing this, he said. You think? Yeah, man, I could never do it. I'm a wuss. Wow, I felt proud. Thanks for the ride, I said. You bet, Eugene said. He laughed and buzzed away. I walked up to the school and tried to ignore the stares of my classmates. And then I saw Roger walk out the front door. Man, I was going to have to fight. Shit, my whole life is a fight. Hey, Roger said. Hey, I said. Who was that on the bike? He asked. Oh, that was my dad's best friend. That was a cool bike, he said. Vintage. Yeah, he just got it. You ride with him a lot? Yes, I said. I lied. Cool, Roger said. Yeah, cool, I said. All right then, he said. I'll see you around. And then he walked away.
Do we think that Roger respects Junior now? Yeah, maybe, right? Maybe the grandma was right? Maybe she was telling the truth. He respects him now, right?
Wow, he didn't kick my ass. He was actually nice. He paid me some respect. He paid respect to Eugene and his bike. Maybe Grandma was right. Maybe I had challenged the alpha dog and was now being rewarded for it. I love my grandmother. She's the smartest person on the planet. Feeling almost like a human being, I walked into the school and saw Penelope the Beautiful. Hey Penelope, I said, hoping that she knew I was now accepted by the dog pack. She didn't even respond to me. Maybe she hadn't heard me. Hey Penelope, I said again. She looked at me and sniffed. She sniffed, like I smelled bad or something. Do I know you? She said. There were only about 100 students in the whole school, right? So of course she knew me. She was just being a bitch. I'm Junior, I said. I'm Arnold. Oh, that's right, she said. You're the boy who can't figure out his own name. Her friends giggled. I was so ashamed. I might have impressed the king, but the queen still hated me. I guess my grandmother didn't know everything.
Alrighty, so is Penelope nice to him now
Here.
that he punched Roger in the face? No, she was not nice, right? So that's like if Jaden ran into Allison walking down the hallway, and Jaden's like, "Hey Allison, like we have class together, right?" And she's like, I don't know who you are, right? I don't know who this man is. And he's like, we only have class together every single day, right? It's like if you saw someone in this class and you said hey to them and they're like I don't know who that person is. And it's like you literally have class with me all the time, right? That's like a slap in the face. So if it was reservation rules, would he have like hit her in this case? Yeah, right? Because it's like if someone insults you, you punch them. This chick's insulting him. She's like, I don't even know who you are. Oh yeah, you can't even figure out your name, right? Like, oh yeah, you're that guy who can't even do this right? That's what she remembers about him. So she's still mean to him, although Roger was nice to him, right? But do we think he likes her? Yeah, right? I think he's maybe got a thing for her. He calls her beautiful all the time. He said she was like movie star beautiful. So now, yeah, he does. But we're going to see more about that in this chapter, where we're going to learn about a girl Junior used to like.
Years of a clown. When I was 12, I fell in love with an Indian girl named Dawn. She was tall and brown and was the best traditional powwow dancer on the res. Her braids, wrapped in otter fur, were legendary. Of course, she didn't care about me. She mostly made fun of me. She called me junior high honky for some reason I never understood. But that just made me love her even more. She was out of my league, and even though I was only 12, I knew that I'd be one of those guys who always fell in love with the unreachable, ungettable, and uninterested.
Alrighty. There's this idea around like relationships and love where it's like if the guy or girl's mean to you, it means they like you. Have you heard that before? Like, oh, he's mean to you, it totally means he likes you. No, I know that you guys in here are all stand-up guys, and you know that if you like a girl, you're gonna be nice to her. You're not gonna be mean to her. If you're mean to her, take it back. It's not too late. And I know you girls are not gonna be like, he's so mean to me, I love it. Like, no, right? We're not going for the guy who's mean to us, or the girls mean to us. We're not going for people who are mean to us, right? We should be going to people who are nice to us. Yes. Yes, of course, you can pass. But there's also this idea that we want what we can't have, okay? Maybe you see this really pretty girl or this really handsome guy and you're like, I'm in love with them, right? But maybe they're way out of your league. Maybe they're like a celebrity or they're super old. They like it's never gonna work. Or like, you know what I mean? There's a tons of different reasons why it wouldn't work, right? And it's just like, you know, and like my friends say that too. Oh, men want want what they can't have. Don't want what you can't have. Want something that's like attainable, guys. But yeah, so this is what he's saying, right? That this girl didn't like him. She was unreachable. She was untouchable to him, and he just ate that up, right? He was like, I could never have her. I want her even more now, right? He's like, she'll never go for me. That's perfect. Like, that's just how I like it, right? So that's what he's saying about his type. Like, she doesn't like me at all. Like, yep, that's it right there. Like, I'm in love with her. So, let's see what he does.
One night at about 2 a.m, when Rowdy slept over at my house, I made a full confession. Man, I said, I love Don so much. He was pretending to be asleep on the floor of my room. Rowdy, I said, are you awake? No. Did you hear what I said? No. I said I love Don so much. He was quiet. Aren't you going to say anything? I asked. About what? About what I just said. I didn't hear you say anything. He was just screwing with me. Come on, Rowdy, I'm trying to tell you something major. You're just being stupid, he said. What's so stupid about it? Don doesn't give a shit about you, he said. And that made me cry. Man, I've always cried too easily. I cry when I'm happy or sad. I cry when I'm angry. I cry because I'm crying. It's weak. It's the opposite of warrior. Quit crying, Rowdy said. I can't help it, I said. I love her more than I've ever loved anybody. Yeah, I was quite the dramatic 12-year-old. Please, Rowdy said, stop that bawling, okay? Okay, I said, I'm sorry. I wiped my face with one of my pillows and threw it across the room. Jesus, you're a wimp, Rowdy said. Just don't tell anybody I cried about Don, I said. Have I ever told anybody your secrets? Rowdy asked. No. Okay then, I won't tell anybody you cried over a dumb girl. And he didn't tell anybody. Rowdy was my secret keeper.
Alrighty, so here he mentions
I'll-
Rowdy again. Do we think he misses Rowdy?
Yes.
Yeah, right? He's like, Rowdy was my secret keeper. Like, he was there for me. He grounded me, right? So he's 12 years old and he's like, I'm in love with this girl. He's crying. He's like, I love her so much. Like, I've never loved someone this much before. And maybe you had a little girlfriend or boyfriend or a little crush when you were young and they didn't like you or something. And you're like, it's the end of the world, right? And you got a little boyfriend, girlfriend, and if you guys break up, like, it's the end of the world. And that's okay. There's no shame in feeling like that. Because in the moment, it is the end of the world. I hate when people are like, it's not gonna matter, like, in the future. It's not gonna matter in the future, okay? I'm gonna say that right now. I didn't even tell you, like, a name of the boy I liked in 8th grade.
Yo, say it.
If I think about it. I would have to, like, really think about it. I'm saying I don't remember. So it will disappear, but if it weighs heavily on you and it's important to you, that's okay, right? We see again those ideas around masculinity that he just wants to cry, like he's sad, the girl doesn't love him back, and Rowdy's like, stop crying, like this is embarrassing. And he's like, this is a very warrior of me, and he's just like crying, right? It's okay to cry, men, it's okay to cry, boys. There's no shame in crying and feeling your emotions. But yeah, we see that he misses Rowdy, right? We see that he was feeling his big emotions. He's an emotional guy, right? He's a sensitive guy. And we see that he likes women that he can't have, okay? That's his type right there. Is something that is unreachable, okay? That's a word he uses to describe it.
Halloween.
Wait.
At school today, I went dressed as a homeless dude. It was a pretty easy costume for me. There's not much difference between my good and bad clothes, so I pretty much look half homeless anyway. And Penelope went dressed as a homeless woman. Of course, she was the most beautiful homeless woman who ever lived. We made a cute couple. Of course, we weren't a couple at all, but I still found the need to comment on our common taste. Hey, I said, we have the same costume. I thought she was just going to sniff at me again, but she almost smiled. You have a good costume, Penelope said. You look really homeless. Thank you, I said. You look really cute. I'm not trying to be cute, she said. I'm wearing this to protest the treatment of homeless people in this country. I'm going to ask for only spare change tonight instead of candy, and I'm going to give it all to the homeless. I didn't understand how wearing a Halloween costume could become a political statement, but I admired her commitment. I wanted her to admire my commitment too, so I lied. Well, I said, I'm wearing this to protest the treatment of homeless Native Americans in this country. Oh, she said, I guess that's pretty cool. Yeah, that spare change thing is a good idea. I think I might do that too. Of course, after school I'd be trick-or-treating on the res, so I wouldn't collect as much spare change as Penelope would in Reardon.
Okay, is he actually dressed like a homeless person for that reason? No, he's dressed like that because that was the easiest costume he could think of, right? Given what's in his closet, that's something that he could easily be. Her, on the other hand, she's making a political statement, which is kind of ironic. She's trying to like stick up for homeless people when she's really a mean person, right? It's like kind of interesting why she does that. But let's see.
Hey, I said, why don't we pool our money tomorrow and send it together? We'd be able to give twice as much. Penelope stared at me. She studied me. I think she was trying to figure out if I was serious. Are you for real? She asked. Yes, I said. Well, okay, she said. It's a deal. Cool, 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 I said. So later that night, I went out trick-or-treating on the res. It was a pretty stupid idea, I guess. I was probably too old to be trick-or-treating, even if I was asking for spare change for the homeless. Well, plenty of people were happy to give me spare change, and more than a few of them gave me candy and spare change. And my dad was home and sober, and he gave me $1. He was almost always home and sober and generous on Halloween. A few folks, especially the grandmothers, thought I was a brave little dude for going to a white school. But there were a lot more people who just called me names and slammed the door in my face. And I didn't even consider what other kids might do to me. About 10 o'clock, as I was walking home, 3 guys jumped me. I couldn't tell who they were. They all wore Frankenstein masks. And they shoved me to the ground and kicked me a few times and spit on me. I could handle the kicks, but the spit made me feel like an insect. Like a slug burning to death from salty spit. They didn't beat me up too bad. I could tell they didn't want to put me in the hospital or anything. Mostly they just wanted to remind me that I was a traitor, and they wanted to steal my candy and the money. It wasn't much, maybe $10 in coins and dollar bills. But that money and the idea of giving it to poor people had made me feel pretty good about myself.
Okay, so he's going trick-or-treating and what happens? He gets jumped, yes. And he's facing that backlash that his mom was kind of scared of, right? Is now they think he's a traitor, okay? But maybe there's another reason why they're angry at him. Maybe it's not anger they're feeling. Can you think another emotion they might feel about him? Yes, jealousy. Maybe they're jealous that he was able to leave the reservation, right? And now he's going to school off the reservation and he's doing all these things for themselves. And they don't have that opportunity, right? Some of them are just not very bright. They don't have the drive, the ambition. So they're stuck here, right? They're stuck on that reservation. So maybe they're also angry at him out of jealousy, all right?
I was a poor kid raising money for other poor people. It made me feel almost honorable. But I just felt stupid and naive after those guys took off. I lay there in the dirt and remembered how Rowdy and I used to trick-or-treat together. We'd always wear the same costume. And I knew that if I'd been with him, I never would have gotten assaulted. And then I wondered if Rowdy was one of the guys who just beat me up. Damn, that would be awful. But I couldn't believe it. I wouldn't believe it. No matter how much he hated me, Rowdy would never hurt me that way. Never. At least, I hope he'd never hurt me. The next morning, at school, I walked up to Penelope and showed her my empty hands. "I'm sorry," I said. "Sorry for what?" she asked. "I raised money last night, but then some guys attacked me and stole it." "Oh my God, are you okay?" "Yeah, they just kicked me a few times." "Oh my God, where did they kick you?" I lifted up my shirt and showed her the bruises on my belly and ribs and back. "That's terrible. Did you see a doctor?" "Oh, they're not so bad," I said. "That one looks like it really hurts," she said, and touched a fingertip to the huge purple bruise on my back. I almost fainted. Her touch felt so good.
Okay, yes, he had a funny reaction to her touching him, right? But, how does she react to him getting jumped? She's worried. She's like, "What? You got jumped? Like, you got attacked?" And he's like, "Yeah, like, what's he doing, right?" But that's not normal, right? So he's realizing that outside of the reservation, it is not normal for people to just be getting jumped. Like, that's like if someone came to school and Kenzo was like, "Adam, look, like or Adam was like, "Kenzo, look, like I got jumped last night, like I was attacked." And he's showing her all these bruises. Kenzo would be like, "Oh my gosh, like what happened?" Right? She's not gonna be like, or she's not gonna be like, "Just another day for Adam," right? She's gonna be like, "Oh, poor Adam." Okay. Yes, I do have Band-Aid. But now let's keep going into June.
"I'm sorry they did that to you," she said. "I'll still put your name on the money when I send it." "Wow," I said, "that's really cool. Thank you." "You're welcome," she said and walked away. I was just going to let her go, but I had to say something memorable, something huge. "Hey," I called after her. "What?" she asked. "It feels good, doesn't it?" "What feels good?" "It feels good to help people, doesn't it?" I asked. "Yes," she said. "Yes, it does." She smiled. Of course, after that little moment, I thought that Penelope and I would become closer. I thought that she'd start paying more attention to me and that everybody else would notice and that I'd become the most popular dude in the place. But nothing much changed. I was still a stranger in a strange land, and Penelope still treated me pretty much the same. She didn't really say much to me, and I didn't really say much to her. I wanted to ask Rowdy for his advice. "Hey buddy," I would have said, "how do I make a beautiful white girl fall in love with me?" "Well, buddy," he would have said, "the first thing you have to do is change the way you look, the way you talk, and the way you walk. And then she'll think you're her frickin' Prince Charming."
Alrighty. So we have finished chapter 11. And what is it that Junior's talking about at the end of the chapter? Who is he talking about? Rowdy, right? So even after he's talking about his story with Penelope, right? He was attacked, it was what it was. And while he's getting attacked, he's thinking about Rowdy, right? He's like, "Ugh, I hope it wasn't Rowdy. Like, I hope Rowdy would never do that to me." And then, after Penelope, he's like, "I wish I had Rowdy. Like, I wish," right? He misses his best friend, which is normal, right? That was his only friend. So for him to miss him, that's totally fine, right? And it's clear that they're just having this little spiff. Hopefully they'll get over it, right? Hopefully they will. So yeah, we're seeing this little friendship fight, but we're hoping that it'll come to an end, right? Because we know that they're good friends, we know that they rely on each other. But it's just a matter of, is Rowdy gonna forgive him, right? Because it seems like Junior wants him back in his life. So we're gonna kind of see what happens from there. But we're going to jump into chapter 12. In chapter 12, Junior is still trying to adjust to life at Reardon and continues feeling lonely and unsure of where he belongs, okay? We're gonna go a lot more in depth than that. He's gonna have an encounter with one of his teachers and he discusses a realization he's made about himself, okay? This encounter with the teacher is going to be negative, but that negative encounter is going to spark the beginning of forming small connections with classmates, okay? Junior is going to make a new friend in this chapter. But even with this new friend, fitting in is still going to be difficult because Junior's friend is weird, okay? That's, for lack of a better word, he's weird. We're going to learn how he's weird, okay? And he's going to talk about how Gordy has taught him to read, okay? We're not going to get through this entire chapter. We're going to finish it tomorrow. But in this chapter, sometimes he talks about, as a teenager, growing up, there are certain things that you experience, and yes. No, he's not a pervert, but they just make silly boy jokes, okay? And sometimes they're a little sexual. We're gonna be mature about it, but we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna use the language that he does, okay? So he's gonna use a specific term a lot, and you're gonna kind of see how how his friend Gordy transforms it from being something sexual to something of different meaning, okay? But it's just that they use that one particular word to get through it. And what we're going to focus on is loneliness, okay? This is going to be part of what you're going to need to know for your journal that you're going to write in a little bit. So, in these chapters, we see how lonely Junior is. He feels torn, not down, between two worlds and doesn't know how to feel about his life on the reservation versus his life as Verdant. But loneliness is a common feeling in teenagers, especially someone who feels torn between two places. Maybe you play two sports and you're realizing you can only play one, and you're torn between having to leave one apart or the other apart. Maybe you're torn between two friendships. Maybe you moved somewhere recently, okay? There's a lot of things that could be affecting you. And that feeling of loneliness is very common. There's no shame in feeling lonely from time to time. Marcel, take that off our fingers. So, we're going to watch this clip from the movie Inside Out, which I think you guys may hopefully be familiar with. And if you haven't seen Inside Out, the whole point of it is that emotions control us, right? And it shows, I hear way too much talking. It shows what emotions they are and how they kind of work together in our minds to control us, right? And so you guys are going to see the emotions joy, you're going to see the emotions sadness, disgust, anger, and fear, okay? So I want you to think in this clip which emotion is controlling this girl the most, okay? And then we're going to think about which emotion controls Rowdy the most, okay? Let me see if we get that up.
I don't remember this.
Okay, we've got a group of cool girls at 2 o'clock.
How do you know?
Double ears pierced, infinity scarf.
Whoa, she wearing an eyeshadow?
Yeah, we want to be friends with them.
Let's go talk to them. Are you kidding? We're not talking to them. We want them to like us.
Oh, yeah. Wait, what?
Almost finished with the potential disasters. First scenario is either quicksand, spontaneous combustion, or getting called on by the teacher. So as long as none of those happens...
Okay, everybody, we have a new student in class today.
Are you kidding me? Out of the gates? This is not happening!
Riley, would you like to tell us something about yourself?
No! Pretend we can't speak English!
Don't worry, I got this.
Okay. My name is Riley Anderson. I'm from Minnesota, and now I live here.
And how about Minnesota? Can you tell us something about it? Well, you certainly get a lot more snow than we do.
She's hilarious.
Yeah, it gets pretty cold. The lake freezes over, and that's when we play hockey. I'm on a great team. We're called the Prairie Dogs. My friend Meg plays forward, and my dad's the coach. Pretty much everyone in my family skates. It's kind of a family tradition. We go out on the lake almost every weekend. Or we did till I moved away.
Hey, what gives?
What?
Hey, Sadness, you touched a memory? We talked about this.
Oh, yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Get back in your circle. What's going on?
Get out of there,
Where
Joey.
you get?
We used to play tag and stuff.
Cool Kids Whispering at 3 o'clock.
You see that look? They're judging us!
Somebody help! Grab them!
But everything's different now. Since we moved.
Hello. We're crying!
I'm sorry.
It's a core memory.
But it's blue.
No, wait!
Stop it! No! No!
Joy, no! That's a core memory!
Stop it! Let
Wait!
Core memories!
Ah!
Thank you, Riley. I know it can be tough moving to a new place, but we are happy to have you here. All right, everyone, get out your history books and turn to chapter 7.
Okay, so we see that this young girl, Riley, she moves from one place to another, right? So she's talking about how she used to live where? Does anyone remember?
Minnesota.
Yes, so she used to live in Minnesota and now she's moved and she's talking about her memory and she's happy, but then what emotion touches it? Sadness. And then she's like, and I miss it. And she starts crying, right? And then all the emotions are reacting and then one's like, oh my god, they're disgusted, like they're judging us. Fear is like, we're crying at school, right? And Joy's like, what's going on? Yes.
Have you ever cried?
Have I ever cried at school when I was younger? Yeah. I feel like that's a normal thing.
I cried my first day of sixth grade.
Cried your first day of second grade. Yeah. There's no shame in crying, I don't think. But yeah. I can think of several times I cried at school. It happens. Anyways, so what emotion mostly controls her in this scene?
Sadness.
Sadness.
Actually, no, joy. Because
Sadness.
no, because like she had joy the most of the
She
time.
had joy and then sadness kind of took over. I can see that. So we see that she's torn between these two worlds and she's feeling all of these emotions, right? And that's totally normal. And that's what we're going to see in Junior as well. Based on what we know about Junior, right? He's at this new school surrounded by people that he doesn't know, white people, right? That's what he always talks about, that he's not familiar with, they're different from him, they have more opportunities than him, all these issues. What emotion do we think controls him the most? Junior. Do we think it is joy? Oh, I'm on the wrong side. Do we think it's joy, sadness, disgust, anger, or fear? Fear. Yes. Thank you, Caleb. It is fear, right? He talks about how they're scared of white people, right? And that white people have all these things that they can't. White people is like a whole new concept to the Indians on the reservation, right? Because they're like, I can't even fathom it. When they're driving, they're scared to get pulled over by white people. They're scared of what white people will say to them, what they'll do to them, right? So there is this fear that he has all the time, right? He's scared of Roger. He's scared of how people are going to react to him, okay? So whatever emotion you were thinking, maybe there is some truth to it. But fear is going to be that leading one, okay? So now we're going to jump into, actually let me leave this posted out. But we're going to jump into chapter 12. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. We're only going to read a second of it, not that much. But we're just going to read a little bit of it because you guys need time to do your journal. So,
It's barely 10:03.
20 more minutes.
okay. So it's slouching toward Thanksgiving. It is long, so we're only going to read a piece of it right now. Here we go.
You know, like fourth period.
Slouching toward Thanksgiving. I walked like a zombie through the next few weeks in Reardon. Well, no, that's not exactly the right description. I mean, if I'd been walking around like a zombie, I might have been scary. So no, I wasn't a zombie, not at all. Because you can't ignore a zombie. So that made me, well, it made me nothing. Zero. Zilch. Nada. In fact, if you think of everybody with a body, soul, and brain as a human, then I was the opposite of human. It was the loneliest time of my life. And whenever I get lonely, I grow a big zit on the end of my nose. If things didn't get better soon, I was going to turn into one giant walking, talking zit. A strange thing was happening to me. Zitty and lonely, I woke up on the reservation as an Indian, and somewhere on the road to Reardon, I became something less than Indian. And once I arrived at Reardon, I became something less than Indian. Those white kids did not talk to me. They barely looked at me. Well, Roger would nod his head at me, but he didn't socialize with me or anything. I wondered if maybe I should punch everybody in the face. Maybe they'd all pay attention to me then. I just walked from class to class alone. I sat at lunch alone. During PE, I stood in the corner of the gym and played catch with myself. Just tossed a basketball up and down, up and down, up and down. And I know you're thinking, okay, Mr. Sad Sack, how many ways are you going to tell us how depressed you were? And okay, maybe I'm overstating my case. Maybe I'm exaggerating. So let me tell you a few good things that I discovered during that awful time.
Okay, I'm actually going to stop us here. We only got 2 pages in. But because I want you guys to read all the way through the stories that he's going to tell, and I don't want to stop you. Because this is a good chapter. You guys are going to like it a lot. I already know. But Junior's talking about being really lonely. Why is he so lonely right now? Who is he missing? Rowdy. Yes, he's missing Rowdy. But also, he's talking about how he doesn't feel like he belongs, right? I woke up on the reservation as an Indian, and somewhere on the road to the Reardon, I became something less than Indian, right? And once I arrived at Reardon, I became something less than Indian, okay? So the real disconnect he's feeling right now, and the real struggle he's having, is that he's torn between these two worlds. He's torn between his life on the reservation and his life at Reardon. And as a result, he's having an internal conflict with his culture, with being Indian, right? So he was feeling Indian, and he would talk about being Indian all the time, and like race is playing this huge role in his life right now, right? Because he doesn't know how to react around all these white people, right? He doesn't know what to do, okay? He's feeling all these emotions. So, I want you guys to turn to the person sitting next to you, like when you guys were in your seats before. And I want you guys to share with your partner what you think is impacting Junior the most right now, okay? What do you think it's the transferring to schools? Do you think it's missing Rowdy? What do you think is impacting this kind of identity crisis we're seeing the most with him right now, okay? And also, why? Why do you pick the school? Why do you pick Rowdy, okay? I'm gonna ask maybe 2 of you to share your responses with the class. So go ahead and talk about that now. And you guys are gonna jump into your journal.
Why do you think he's sad? Does he move? I'm emotional. Why do you think he's sad? No shit. Wow.
What do you think is impacting Junior the most right now? This isn't the question you're answering. You're answering the question that I asked you. Sorry.
Brown and pink are nice.
Okay, so what do you guys think is a leading cause for his loneliness? Yes, Marcel. The lack of friends. Who's the specific lack of friend he's missing? Yes, Adam. It was Rowdy, right? And who was Rowdy to Junior? He was his brother.
This is
I
my
like
brother.
that.
They do that.
He was, and he talks about him like he was his brother, right? He meant a lot to him. And now that he doesn't have them here, all of these chapters that we've read so far have mentioned Rowdy at some point, right? We can tell he's totally missing him, right? It's like if you have a conversation with someone and all they do is talk about their ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend and you're like, they're so not over it, right? This is like what he's doing, but with Rowdy, right? He won't stop talking about Rowdy. We know he misses Rowdy. So, good job. Did anyone say something different? No? We all agree on that? Yes, Marcel.
It's because he's like.
He is, right? We do learn about his disabilities and like what makes him special. But what you guys are going to do now is do a quick journal entry. We don't have that much time, but I don't expect a full page from you guys. Half a page is what you guys can give me. And in chapters 9 through 12, Junior starts to feel lonely. He's trying to find where he belongs, but he feels caught between two worlds. I want you to think about a time when you felt lonely, left out, or like you didn't fit in. What helped you get through that feeling? Did anyone make you feel seen or supported? Okay? And feeling lonely is normal. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to look down on, right? We all have some times where we're like, I feel a little lonely right now, okay? That's totally fine. That's totally normal. There is no shame in being a little lonely from time to time. And if you're gonna say, I've never been lonely before, okay, it's right. If you haven't felt that way, what advice would you give someone who does? So those are your two options that you can answer. I'm asking for at least half a page, which is half of less than I usually ask for you guys. So go ahead and write that now, please.
We should read this, right?
Yeah, I am gonna read it, so be mindful of that, yes.
105?
It is on page 105, yes, for journal number 5. I am gonna read it, remember that, I am a mandated reporter. So if you write something that makes me think you were harmed or are at harm, I will have to report it.
I don't call you meant for me.
This what page? No.
105.
This is the
What do you mean?
Just
Oh, no, I was you're talking about that.
Justice.
Somebody accidentally threw a pizza plate. He accidentally. I don't like do this.
We should be writing our journal, please, because this will help you with your assessment tomorrow, with your quiz.